Good afternoon, aspirants. Welcome to Sarat Chandra IAS Academy. My name is Gautam. I am faculty for Political Science and International Relations for the Civil Services Mains Optional. Today, I'd like to address a very common question that a lot of students preparing with Political Science and International Relations face. The first question is, what are the most important things that a student should keep in mind while preparing for Political Science and International Relations? We'll try to address that question today. The first thing that I would like to identify as the most important quality for any student preparing for political science is that he should try to attain the conceptual clarity. That's the key. Conceptual clarity probably is the most important aspect for any student preparing for political science. What do we really understand by conceptual clarity? Conceptual clarity simply means that students should be very clear about the concepts on which they are conducting a study. For example, if a student is trying to study the concept of rights, he should be very clear about what exactly do we understand by a right. Normally, a right can be considered as something which we feel that we are entitled to. That's how we understand a right. But for a student of political science, his understanding should be more cogent. He should try to understand the concept of right from a theoretical perspective and how the concept of right is understood as a student of political science, not as a student of general studies, but as a student of political science. Please remember, for a student of political science, the concept of rights extends far beyond a mere entitlement. It's not just an entitlement, it's something else. For example, right for a student of political science should mean an entitlement or a claim made by an individual or a group of individuals. A claim made by an individual or a group of individuals, which is recognized by society. Recognized by society, and also which is enforceable by law. Only something which we consider our entitlement is recognized by society and enforced by law. We can call that appropriately as right. Therefore, the concept of right for a student of political science has a very, very strong theoretical grounding. So a student of political science should try to understand the concept in its full clarity. So when we say right, it's not merely an entitlement, it is a claim. We should claim it. Individuals should claim the right. It means the individual should be ready to protect that right. Individual should be ready to enforce his right. Individual should be ready to seek a remedy if that right is violated. Individuals should have the heart to fight for his right. That's the meaning of a claim. Men should not sleep over their rights. They should enforce their rights in case their rights are violated. If any right of mine is violated, if I consider this as my legitimate claim, I will go to the extent of protecting my right through the legal remedy available. I'll go to the court, I'll file a case, I'll go to the police to get my right enforced. This is the meaning of a claim. But this claim that I make should be recognized by society. Society should render its due recognition to this claim of mine. And thirdly, the right that I claim should be enforceable by law. In case the right is not enforceable by law, it remains an empty claim. This is the meaning of right. So please understand that students who are preparing for political science, they should be very clear about their concepts. This is what's called as conceptual clarity. The first, probably the most important thing that every student of political science should aim for. Define your terms clearly. That's the first requirement of a student of PSIR. Now please remember that getting conceptual clarity means understanding the intricate aspects of a particular concept. Understanding the intricate aspects of a particular concept. Sometimes as students of political science, we might have to go beyond the definition to understand the intricacy of a particular concept. For example, to drive this point more emphatically, I'd like to give you a small example. Let us look at the idea of republic. We all understand what a republican form of government is. A republican form of government is one in which the highest head is elected by people, either directly or indirectly through periodic elections. That's how we understand republic. A republican form of government is one in which the highest head of the state is either directly or indirectly elected by people. That is the definition of the term republic. It's the definition of the term republic. So for a normal reader, a republican form of government is one in which the head is elected, either directly or indirectly through periodic elections. Now, you know that the President of India is elected. Therefore, India is a republican form of government. As simple as that. That's how a general reader will understand the concept of republic. But to go intricately into this concept, a republican form of government is one in which the highest head is elected by people, either directly or indirectly through periodic elections. That's the definition of republic. But the implicit meaning is that this form of government, called a republican form of government, does not allow for any political privileges. This is a type of government in which nobody can enjoy any special political privileges. Now please remember, a republican form of government is one in which the highest head is elected by people. This rule that the head of the state should be elected applies to every political office in this country, starting from the President of India till the Panchayat President. For every political office, there should be elections. It means no individual or no group of individuals shall enjoy any special privileges in assuming public offices. Have you understood this? This is understanding the intricate aspect of republic. So, republican form of government in which there is no allowance for any special privileges or rights to public offices, starting from the President of India to every political office in this country. That is the meaning of republic. So please understand that conceptual clarity requires students to properly understand the intricate or implicit aspects about the various concepts. So a republican form of government normally is a type of government in which the head of the state is elected. But it implies that there shall be no political privileges or special rights to any political office. If this rule applies to the President of India, this rule applies to every political office in this country. That is the meaning of a republican form of government. This is understanding the implicit aspects of the various concepts that we study in political science. This is the meaning of conceptual clarity. Understanding the concept in the right way, understanding the intricate aspects of the concepts that we study. Once this is done, once you have attained conceptual clarity, let's say, the next thing is application of this knowledge to the question given. Application of this knowledge of the concept that you have attained to the given question. For example, what are the challenges to republicanism in India? What are the challenges to republicanism? It means you can write here about how the party system in India is allowing dynastic politics, and the organization of political system and the electoral system in this country is allowing for people to assume political offices based on their political legacies, whether their father or grandfather is a political leader, they tend to have a special privilege or an edge because of the operation of the political system. And that's a serious challenge which has emerged. So the nature of party system, the operation of the political process in this country, they have emerged as some serious challenges to the idea of republicanism. Therefore, conceptual clarity also requires you to apply the knowledge of the concept to the realities. Only then your conceptual clarity will be complete. Okay? So please remember that conceptual clarity requires candidates to have the three dimensions of a concept. First, you should understand the meaning of the concept. Second, you should also understand the intricate or the implicit aspects within a given concept. Three, the conceptual clarity should allow the candidate to apply the knowledge that he has attained about a concept to the ground realities and to come out with conclusions and analysis. This is the meaning of conceptual clarity. If somebody asks me, what do you think is the most important thing that any student preparing for political science and international relations should attain, I would say, on a snap, it is conceptual clarity. This is the most important thing. This is the key. Concepts like justice, the idea of rule of law, the institution called democracy. Why? Even the very idea of a constitutional form of government is also concept. A constitution is described as the fundamental law of the land. And the very purpose of having a constitution is to limit the exercise of power. See, there's a concept involved in the idea of a constitutional form of government. It is this conceptual clarity. Please remember, for a good number of students, constitution represents just a rule book. Or constitution represents just an enumeration of rights. Or constitution can sometimes represent only a description of the structure of government and its organs and their functions. The constitution can, to some students, may represent just an enumeration of rights or duties. Constitution is more than that. Constitution is a document which enables legitimate and legal exercise of power. That's the purpose of having a constitution. Because the purpose of constitution, which acts as the fundamental law, is to limit the exercise of power, to impose a restraint on the exercise of power. Because power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Therefore, there should be some form of restraint exercised on power. And that is the purpose of constitution. It's a concept. This is what is called as conceptual clarity. In everything that we study in political science and international relations, it is this conceptual clarity that we seek to attain. Remember, political science is not about slogans. Political science is not about the depth of understanding of various political thinkers. Political science is not about articles. It is not just a combination of articles. Political science is about having understanding of the various concepts and principles. That's the key of political science. Okay? And once you have grasped these concepts, trust me, political science becomes a very, very smooth sailing. Okay? So the first thing, the most important thing, as some students have asked me, of what should be kept in mind for any student preparing for political science, it is this: aim to attain conceptual clarity. Please be very clear on that. And conceptual clarity, as I told you a few minutes earlier, indicates three things. One, knowledge and information about the concept properly. Two, understanding the intricate and implicit aspects of the concept. And three, conceptual clarity requires candidates to be able to apply their knowledge to the ground reality to come out with proper conclusions and analysis. These are the three aspects of conceptual clarity. Please keep that in mind, students who are preparing for political science. And trust me, the journey that you're going to have with political science is going to be a fascinating journey, because political science has very rich and varied content. You study kings, kingdoms, constitutions, governments, revolutions, and ideologies. That's what you study in political science. So I welcome you all aboard. It's the fascinating journey of political science. A new batch for political science at Sarat Chandra IAS Academy will be commencing on 16th of June 2026. Therefore, any of you who are contemplating on taking political science as an optional, please feel free to come to the organization and have a talk with me at any time to clarify any of your doubts. My name is Gautam. I'm faculty for Political Science and International Relations. I've had an experience of more than 2 decades, both as an aspirant as well as a faculty for Political Science and International Relations. Thank you so much. My best wishes to you all.